Welcome to this video on working with cells, columns and rows in Microsoft Excel. So this is part of our Excel Basics series, and we're going to dive a little bit more into the rows, the columns, how to select and copy and paste cells. We're going to show and hide and add rows and columns. We'll look at filters, we'll look at freezing panes, column widths and merge and unmerge. So we've got lots to go through in this video to show you some more basics. Now this is leading on from the previous video, so if you haven't seen the Getting Started with Excel video, then please do go and have a look at that one as well. So let's have a look at the cells and columns and rows and stuff. So let's just go back and remind ourselves that columns are vertical, they're what's going across the top, they are lettered A, B, C, and then the rows, that's the terminology we use in Excel, go down the left hand side and they are numbered. So let's have a look at my information. So I've got the name, I've got the hours left out of 40. I did a quick calculation to do that, but I only have the first name in there. Now what I want to do is add another column so that I can put the surname in. So what I can do to do that is click on the column, go to home, back in my ribbon, and insert towards the right hand side. And if I click on that drop down, it knows I've selected a column, so it's telling me to insert sheet columns. So I can do that nicely, click away, and now I have a column in place. So select to the right of where you want that column to be, go to home, go to insert and add a column. And now I can put some information in there, pressing enter to move down as I'm going, and finish off. If I needed to put another column or another row or something in there, exactly the same, I would click on the row using the number. So instead of clicking on the letter, I'm going to click on the number and again go to home and insert sheet rows. So it's changed now because it knows I'm looking at a row. And you can see there, it's added in that extra row for me to play around with. If I want to get rid of any columns or rows, I'll just click again on it. Now, if I'm getting rid of it, it's much easier to right click and just delete. So you can get rid of that quite nice and easy. So it's easy to add rows and columns. It's easy to remove rows and columns. What you might also want to do is make them different sizes. So you've got a couple of options here. You can either select them. So let's have a look at this surname one. Click on it again and let's right click this time because changing the size is nicely done on the right click. And column width is there and I can decide what column width I want. So it's currently 8.11. Let's put 11 and press enter or click on OK. And you can see there that my column is now a little bit bigger. But what I can also do to just make it nice and simple is I can hover between two columns or two rows and my cursor will change a little bit and then I can just click and hold and drag and move it wherever I want it to be. So that's quite nice and easy to just do some quick size changes on my information. What I can also do is hide it. You might have seen that again on the right click. I've got to hide and unhide. So I can just hide that column. And you'll notice at the top, you can no longer see B. It's gone from A to C. That's because column B is hidden. And if I want to unhide it, I can just click and hold the two columns, right click and unhide, and it'll pull anything that's hidden back, which is really nice and easy to work with. So you can add and delete rows and columns. You can hide and show them. We looked at column width already. Let's have a look at freeze panes. So if you've got a lot of information, freeze panes might be quite a useful way for you to continue to see the column headers, the headers that you put at the top of your columns when you scroll down, so you don't lose what's going on at the top. So I'm going to click on row 2. So I'm going to select row 2. Remember, you do that by selecting the number. And I'm going to go to the View tab to open up that ribbon. And then towards the right hand side, I've got freeze panes. So you've got some options here. You can freeze the panes where they are, which is why I selected that row, but you can also freeze the top row or the first column. So it does it for you. You don't have to select it, but I always select it anyway, just in case. I'm going to freeze that pane. And what will happen now is you'll notice there's a bit of a line going across. So if I scroll down now, you'll see that row 1 always stays there, which is really useful if I've got loads of data, but I want to remind myself what each of the columns is there for, because it's easy to forget if you've got loads of data and you're trying to interrogate it and stuff. So freeze panes is a nice option as well. Another thing you might want to do is you might want to turn on some filters. So if I click on any one of these three headers and go into the data tab to open up that ribbon, then I've got the filter option. And it does open up filters for all of my columns. But what this will allow you to do, again, if you've got loads of data, it'll allow you to go in there and filter and look at specific data. So if you open up that filter, you'll see towards the bottom, you've got select all is ticked. I've got Jones, I've got Smith, and I've got Wood. If I take off Wood and click on OK, it's going to remove that. And it'll look like you've got some filter going on because the icon will have changed a little bit. So you can use filters to highlight which sets of data you're interested in. If you do click on the filter, you can also use the sorting options at the top. And if you've got any colours, any conditional formatting in there, you can sort by colour as well. So you've got some nice options. Plus, if you want to search and you want to filter by a specific thing and you've got a really long list, you don't want to be looking for it, then you can click on the search and type in what you're looking for. So Jones. You can see that really nicely works. And that helps you to just manage your data, your columns, your rows, etc. So you don't have to hide them manually. You can go and use the filters to hide certain things automatically. So you're just looking at the data you want to look at. And what I'm just going to do is select all to pull that information back. So a couple more things we're going to look at here. I'm going to copy and paste. I'm going to select my cell. So when you select a cell, you'll get a box around it. And Excel works the same as any other application, depending on whether you're on a PC or a Mac. Copy and paste is the same shortcut, or you can right click and copy it and right click and paste. So if I right click on Louise and select copy, and then just click on another cell and right click and just paste, you can see that's come down there nicely. Now I'm on a PC here, so if I use the shortcut, which is Control and C on Wood, and then move down and Control and V, which is the paste, then you can see that's come down as well. So you just need to select a cell, copy it, select the cell you want to move that information into, and paste. Really nice, really simple, really easy. The final thing I just want to show you is merging cells together. So in Excel, depending on what type of document, type of sheet you're creating, you might want to merge cells together. And you can do that quite easily. Now, if I select two cells, so I've clicked and dragged over multiple cells here. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the Home tab. And I need to be in the alignment area here. And there's an icon there that looks like it's a cell, and it's got two arrows pointing to either side, and it says merge and center. So I'm going to click on the drop down so you can see you've got merge across, merge cells, unmerge cells, merge and center. Now the first two options are there if you've got information in cells that you're merging. If you don't, then you can just use merge and unmerge at the bottom. So let's merge and center. So, very quick warning here, because I've got two sets of information in here, I've got information in each cell, it's saying it only keeps the upper left value and discards all the other ones. So let's have a look at what that looks like. So I'm going to click OK, and you can see there Wood has disappeared. So this is really, really important to know. If you merge cells at all, and you've got information in both cells, then you're going to lose the information that isn't on the upper left-hand side. So it says upper left because you might want to merge down as well as across. It's quite useful if you can creating different types of spreadsheets. So just be super careful and don't accidentally lose data, because you're merging cells, which is really useful, but remember you're only keeping your upper left data. Now obviously I can go in there because my data is not massive, and type in the name again and just enter out of that. But it just shows you different ways of working. And what I can do now that I've merged it, you can imagine what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go to the Home tab. I'm going to go to Merge and Center. And you can see I've got unmerged cells at the bottom. So I'm going to unmerge them. And it's still aligning to the center, so I'm kind of missing a bit of Louise Wood. But if I go back to the home and just have a look in this alignment section again, you can see the middle one there. I've got center alignment, so let's just left align. And you can see now that it's moved, and I can see it now. It is moving over to the next column, so maybe I want to make column A little bit bigger, using either the right click or just manually moving it. Remember, you move your cursor between the two columns. Let's have a look and just do that dead quick, and you can then move it across. So some different things we had a looked at, a lot of different options, a lot of different functions, including adding and deleting rows and columns, hiding and showing them, changing your column widths, looking and adding quick filters, merging and unmerging, selecting those cells and copying and pasting, and also don't forget we had a quick look at freezing those panes. So that was working with cells, columns and rows, and part of our basic series on Microsoft Excel. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel, and let me know in the comments what videos you'd like to see next.